Hey, 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 welcome back to another episode. I hope you are having an amazing day. I wanted to just talk about um, healing. I think that so many people struggle with healing. They struggle with learning how to heal. They struggle with where to begin to heal. If you're like me, maybe you didn't think, or maybe you don't think that healing is even something that you'll ever have in your life. Um, I just want to tell you that it's something that we all are given an opportunity to have. It's a choice on whether or not we choose it, and it's a decision on whether or not we do the work that it takes to get to the other side of the mountain. I literally for 37 years didn't want to work on myself, didn't see a need to, never had an opportunity given to me to help me, and always blamed myself for every circumstance and really beat myself up. Like I was my own worst critic. And after 37 years of abuse and trauma, I was really fed up. And the craziest part is that I had blacked out a lot of it. And even though I was really fed up, I still hadn't gotten to the root of that trauma. And I still had not even began to wrap my head around everything I had gone through. I had really, really blocked a lot of it out. Um, and I didn't realize how much until after I started doing the healing work. And so I think my message today is for those who are doing the healing work, even if it's baby steps. I mean, personally, baby steps to me are amazing. If it wasn't for me taking the baby steps I did, I wouldn't be the person I am today. By rushing through the process, we don't serve anybody but the people who tell us to rush through it. By taking the time to dissect things and find understanding with them, make peace with them, really find forgiveness, those things you shouldn't take lightly. It's not something that is going to just flip off with the flip of a switch like a light. It's not something that necessarily will always be with you, but it's also not something that necessarily will always um, be taken away. And so I really believe that for me, it was my higher power. Um, Everybody is different, but my personal experience, I struggled with addiction and alcohol, and eating disorder, suicidal thoughts, and attempted with alcohol at one point, and also depression and anxiety and PTSD, panic attacks. I'd have 37 plus panic attacks a day at one point for 3 years straight. Um, every mental health doctor or person I had seen besides one wouldn't help me. And that's just speaking to my truth. I was really silenced in this world. And I don't take that lightly. I mean, different states I lived in, I mean, different counties I lived in, different protocols, different organizations, friends, family. I was really shunned because the testimony that I chose to share was my truth, but a lot of people didn't want me to speak my truth. A lot of people wanted to silence me. And what changed for me was I stopped giving a damn what other people thought. I stopped caring about who was going to be offended. I stopped worrying about the secrets that they had kept about my life. And instead, I started thinking about the secrets that I had kept that almost cost me my life. And when I realized that I was above all of that, it wasn't like a pride thing, it was humility. It was Jesus working in my heart to let me know that I could forgive people even if I never received an apology. It was Jesus working in my heart, reminding me whose I was, whose whose I was, like who created me. And I didn't believe I was worthy of going to heaven. I didn't believe I was worthy of healing. So many people had broken me, and I allowed them to break me. That's the truth. I allowed people to break me. I could have had the courage to work through those feelings and emotions, but I was too afraid. And so I stayed mad. I stayed angry. I stayed bitter. And anything I looked at, I could only see the negative in it. I don't know if you can relate to that, but it's draining when your life is like that. It's draining, and it's a slow death. And it's a painful death. I'm not going to lie. And I found myself being bitter and a single mom and struggling with, kids at home who needed me. And I didn't know if I could be there for them. I didn't know if I could be good enough for them. And the truth was they just needed me to be healthier. They just needed me to be an example of working on yourself. And so I made the decision that I would recover out loud, that I would heal out loud. I was scared. I was afraid. This is necessarily not for everybody, but it was for me. And I started sharing my testimony, and I started diving more into the Bible and really getting to know Jesus. And what I found in that whole search and that whole journey was peace, was comfort, was joy, was happiness, emotions that I had shut off for years that I had not tapped into, maybe pretended to with all the masks of, pain, but in all reality, I hadn't really felt those. In all reality, I didn't even know how they truly felt to be truly happy. I didn't know how it felt to ever feel joy in my life. I I was so humbled this past November. It's January now, right? New year. This past November, I was so humbled when one morning I was in meditation, and for the first time in 45 years of my life, I'm 45 now. For the first time in 45 years of life, I felt joy. It almost, I'm almost choked up and want to cry just thinking about how good it felt. Like tears of joy, tears of gratitude. The amount of joy I felt, I've never, ever, ever felt that except for when I had a vision 2 weeks before my granddaughter died in July of 2019, and I went to heaven. And when I was in heaven, I felt that peace and that joy. And I didn't want to leave. I did not want to leave. It felt so good there. But I finally felt that here on earth. And I don't know if you've ever experienced pure joy and pure bliss, but it is the most powerful, overwhelming, like in a good way, feeling you will ever feel in your entire being. And when you can truly, truly find that peace within, it's there. And I think so many of us have probably never really felt it. And if you have, I'm so glad you have. But if you have not, you will always have an opportunity to. And it's just tapping into stop focusing on the things that bring you down and lower your energy and make you sad and make you overwhelmed and scared and afraid. The world is designed to distract you. And it becomes such a big distraction when everything is going on around us, and we can't even control it, but we're watching the news and we're watching social media and we're seeing all the videos and all the things, and it just makes our emotions go all over the place, and we find ourselves depressed and anxious and struggling, and then wondering why. What you feed yourself is just as important as what you're feeding your mind, and what you feed your body, and what you put in there, the liquids, the food, the things you're watching, the things you're listening to, like it all plays a role. And I didn't realize how important that role was until I started eliminating things that weren't good for me and detoxing. And I was so surprised at how much I had distracted myself from really working on myself, really becoming a better me. And so like now I have this opportunity to thrive and to do so good, but it's because I'm not focused on everything else going on around me. I mean, yes, there's some things going, and yes, I'm praying for people, but I am not allowing that to shift my energy and who I am. And so it really is working on myself. It really is that um finding the peace within and being able to really respond instead of react to things. A lot of people don't realize that reacting usually is like, think of it as like a bomb, like a dynamite, boom, right? It's exploding. Whereas responding, it's more time. You're taking more time and you're really looking at the perspective of things. It's not really so much taking forever, but it's just giving yourself the time you need to decide, should I even say anything, or is this something I need to be silent about? You will be amazed at what requires your silence. A lot of things don't need to be shared with everyone. And I used to be an oversharer, and I've learned that some things are just for God. Some things are just between me and Him. And that is okay. And there's moments when you may feel frustrated and you want to blurt out your frustration. But imagine if you just took a few deep breaths and counted to 10 and talked about how grateful you were for things, whatever it was that frustrated you. It might feel like it's still there, but at least it'd be a little lessened, right? And you just have the faith in knowing it's already worked out. Faith in knowing that it's already resolved itself. Everything is for you and it's good, even if sometimes it hurts a little. You know that you're going to get through that. Like that pain, that suffering that you're going through is temporary. And I think that was the biggest lesson for me, was really, am I holding on to that pain and suffering, and am I the one that's, swallowing the poison of it, or am I letting it go and letting God? And I think that was like the biggest lesson I've had to learn, because I was that person who tried to fix everything. I don't know if anybody else can relate to that, but I was that person who tried to fix everything. I wanted to be that person who um focused on everybody else but herself, because if I focused on everybody else, I didn't have to work on myself. And I promise you that if you do the work on yourself, you're going to be healthier to be able to help other people. You're going to be healthier to make decisions that are good decisions, that are better for everyone involved, not just yourself, not just one person, but everyone. You're also going to be the person that's going to show the others that it's possible to get through it, that it's possible to overcome it, that it can be better. And it's amazing when you can be that light for other people, what it will do for you as well. It's a ripple effect. It's like a rubber band. I tell people, what you put out comes back to you. And it really does change your life. It really will make a difference. But you have to decide on whether or not you're willing to make the commitment to each day show up for yourself. Each day, show up and be your best self. And pretty soon, you won't just be showing up for yourself. You'll be showing up for other people too. You'll be showing up for other situations too. And you won't feel like you're obligated, or you won't feel like it's a chore. You'll actually be excited to do it. You'll actually want to do it, because your energy won't be so zapped and drained, because you've taken care of yourself, because you've done the things that you need to do for you. And so I hope this helps somebody and can reach somebody, especially those of you who maybe there's just like all hell's breaking loose in your life right now, and you're just like, I do not know what to do right now. Just know that that's normal. We go through moments like that, and I always say just let go and let God, and allow Him to use this moment to mold and shape you. Allow Him to use this moment to help you shift and grow, and allow Him to use you to help someone else. I hope this reaches you exactly where you need it today. Have a great rest of your week.